2019 was a good year for pop music. You had the usual pop stars like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Ed Sheeran, and even Post Malone, who would put out a very good album. You also had up-and-coming pop stars like Lizzo and Billie Eilish breaking into the mainstream. But even in a year full of stars, there was one person that was breaking records and dominating the charts with one song.
I got the horses in the bag.
And that person's name was Lil Nas X, who would take over the world with his song Old Town Road. The song's organic rise to the top was something that everybody loved. And not only would the song dominate the year of 2019, the song would change the music landscape as we still see the effects of it 3 years later. And well, here's how everything happened.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
It all starts with a guy by the name of Montero Hill. Why Montero? Because his mom couldn't afford a car.
My mom wanted like the car, the Montero, you know, and she never got one.
What's a Montero?
It's a Mitsubishi. So yeah, I'm named after a car.
Essentially, it's the Kanye bar from All Falls Down.
Couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis.
And just like Kanye, Montero would drop out of college with the hopes of furthering his music career. Montero would move in with his sister where he would write and record music inside of his closet. And of course, you probably know Montero better as Lil Nas X, who would release his first mixtape onto the world in 2018 with Maserati. And although the mixtape does have some decent rapping and even good rapping at points, the mixtape wouldn't have any type of big traction at all. But not to worry, because in October of that same year, Lil Nas X would come across the beat for what would become Old Town Road.
Before Old Town Road, I didn't know Lil Nas X. I had like a beat store. That was my way of making money. And that's how Lil Nas found it. He was just searching for beats online.
And by the end of the year, the song would be released to the public, and Lil Nas X would get to promoting the song basically all by himself. And that's because at this time, Lil Nas X was independent, which means that Lil Nas X had to get creative in order for his song to gain traction. He really didn't have the money or the fame to go on a press run or be put on every playlist, but Lil Nas X's strategy was actually an interesting one and a pretty smart one.
I first started like with the tweet, and it was already like, you know, having some momentum. And then, you know, like over the course of a few months, I would just putting it into memes and, you know, like kind of forcing it into the internet in a way. And then, you know, it started to catch on.
The strategy was basically make the song a meme. And well, I guess hard work does pay off, because the song would become a meme on TikTok. And TikTok wasn't the app that it was now. Most people knew it as, oh yeah, that's the app that used to be Musical.ly. But the app was definitely starting to pick up traction, and so was Lil Nas X. By March of 2019, Old Town Road would be appearing in both the hip-hop charts and the country charts. And just as it was about to hit #1 on the country charts, Billboard decided to disqualify. To me, it's still a head-scratching decision by Billboard to disqualify the song from being the country song that it is, but they claimed that the song just wasn't country enough, I guess. However, this was a blessing in disguise. Thanks in part to the controversy, the song would reach its peak at #1 in April of 2019, and there was no looking back from this point onward. Despite already being a #1 song, the remix, which would include Billy Ray Cyrus, would increase its popularity even more. This, to me, is probably the strongest #1 song I've ever seen. Every week it seemed like there was this new song by an established artist that was ready to go to the top, but it wasn't, because Old Town Road was there. Eventually, people realized that this song could break a record for the most consecutive weeks and the most weeks overall at #1. The song would fetch Lil Nas X 2 Grammys.
Thank you.
When you ask about the year 2019, it's not often that you're gonna forget about the song Old Town Road. The impact of Old Town Road is something that is understated at this point. The free advertisement that it gave to TikTok is something that no one really talks about, but should be talked about. I feel like this song really solidified TikTok as a social media app that people should take more seriously outside of teenagers. Honestly, this is the first successful TikTok song. Like, this was the first song that blew up on TikTok, so everybody just started listening to it, and then it became a big hit. And think about how many artists have benefited from that aspect of TikTok. Like, seriously, it helped Blinding Lights become the greatest song ever. We're seeing it right now with like Kate Bush and her song just making the comeback. Sure, it was Stranger Things, but it's also TikTok. Like, next time you see Drake talking about, I can dance like Michael Jackson, you got Lil Nas X to thank for. On top of that, I feel like Old Town Road was this big call for change within the artists on top. You look at everything since 2019 and the rate of up and coming pop stars since then is crazy. Like, for example, I look at someone like Olivia Rodrigo. A lot of her growth was organic. People that felt some attachment to her because of the drama or because she's Olivia Rodrigo or whatever it may have been. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't blow up the way that she does if it wasn't for the change that Lil Nas X sparked in the music industry. Overall, I think Lil Nas X is a great talent. His contributions in terms of music is definitely appreciated. And although it's easy to forget, there was a genuine concern that Lil Nas X was about to be a one-hit wonder. And the fact that he was able to pivot and release a pretty good album in Montero is pretty dope to me. Shout out to Lil Nas X for paving a way for the next generation of music. While I'm at it, shout out to Jay Dilla. I'm gonna let the outro roll now.